Hey, it's Crafty here. How you doing? Are you ready to find out, are you past the beginner stage on drums? This is the part 2. Let's go check it out. The fundamental parts of any instrument are really important. If you're feeling like that you're not a beginner, make sure you stay tuned because there might be something that you have missed, and if there wasn't, well, it's good to recap anyway. Okay, next on our list is controlling our dynamics, which the word dynamics means volume. And I'm just going to demonstrate, right? So if I'm playing at this volume, I have to be able to control how loud I'm playing. Sometimes playing heaps louder is warranted. Sometimes not. So yeah, it's important you control how loud that you can play at any given time. So if you feel like that you need to practice more, well then go practice more. Okay, next on our list is being able to play from reading drum tabs or notation. And so basically what that means is that the part of the drum kit that you need to hit is written down on a piece of paper or on a computer screen, whatever, or however you're reading it, and it is going to tell you when to hit it in relation to other parts of the drum kit. So this drum beat that I'm playing here looks like this. Now the good thing about notation is it's kind of intuitive. Physically speaking, it's represented on the sheet of paper, but also in sound, okay? And what I mean by sound is by frequency or the characteristics of the sound. The bass drum or the kick drum is a lower sound, so it's written on the bottom. The snare drum is kind of in the middle, so it's in the middle, and the X is on top. So, kind of looks the way it sounds. If you've never done any reading before, drum music reading, drum tabs, drum notation, well then you're still a beginner. So get into reading and learning a lot faster that way. Alright, so next on our list is being able to play at least 3 different types of drum beats. If you can't play at least 3, well, I'm sorry, you're still a beginner. So here's 3 that I'm just going to show for you right now. The one that I just played before is this. This is our standard simple rock beat. Which works at a lot of different tempos. Or here's another beat. This is called a shuffle. Okay, so here's a third option. This is a snare on beat, as I call it. So if you can't play any of those drum beats, well then, there you go. You've got an extra one to add to your arsenal. Alright, next on our list is can you play drum fills? Now, they don't need to be very elaborate, but you need to be able to play a drum fill to be able to get past the beginner stage. So here's a few examples. Okay, so next on our list is being able to count in. This is something that's important for every instrument, no matter what you play, but if you're a drummer, you've got to be able to count in. Now, the idea of how to do it is that you just have to basically count a bar's worth of beats before the actual song or the beat starts.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up.
So here's one way of doing it. was using the sticks. That's one way of drummers being able to get away with actually vocalizing using their voices. But in my opinion, it's much more important to be able to count the numbers out. Because if you're in a loud rehearsal space where some people are maybe half engaged in conversation, or they're just not really paying attention, if they hear like 2, 3, 4, then they'll go, oh crap, I know where we're up to. But if they're just hearing this, then they might not be able to start at the same time. There's been a lot of false starts that I've witnessed and been a part of because the drummer doesn't say the numbers out loud. So say the numbers out loud and actually go for it. Be loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was some correct ways of doing a count in, because I was counting at the same tempo that I was just about to start playing straight afterwards. Now remember that a count in is setting the tempo for everyone else as well. So it's got to be at exactly the same speed. So here's a bad way of counting in. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was at a different speed, wasn't it? So yeah, make sure you count it in at the same speed.
I feel the need for speed.
So there you go. If you can't count in yet, well then you are still a beginner. So make those tweaks.
Too much pressure.
While we're on counting, can you count aloud while you're playing? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It might be a different type of drum beat where you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing something that's kind of complex, you've got to be able to know, where does it fit in with the actual beat? And if you've just got the counting stuck in your head, it's really easy to lose count, to lose your place. So count out loud, and then you'll get past the beginner stage. Okay, we're almost through this checklist. One thing that you must be able to do to get past the beginner stage is being able to play a rock ending. So that's one way you could do it. Basically, all it is just cutting sick. But there is a bit of a method to doing it for particular rock songs. The way I do it is I do one big hit at the start, and then as fast as I can, hit the cymbals, and then do a drum fill around the drum kit, ending on the snare, and then one last hit. Which brings me to another quick point, which is if you hit a cymbal on its own without either the bass drum or the snare, and you do that regularly, well, I'm sorry, you're still in the beginner stage, because it's really important that you know it's a really simple thing. Just hitting the cymbal should be hit with something else. Okay, a few more to go. Next on the checklist is, can you play entire songs? If you can only play parts of songs, or if you can play a drum beat but you lose time before you get to the end, well then you're still a beginner. You need to be able to play entire songs before you can pass the beginner stage. So if that's you, well then get cracking. Second to last on this list, can you play along with the 12-bar blues? Now, to the newbies, you might think, but isn't that a guitarist thing that's important? Well, it's important for a drummer as well to be able to know when the end of 12 bars is. Because really, that's when you need to be able to do a drum fill to make it seem like it's the end of that section, the end of that 12 bars, and it's the start of the next 12 bars. Yeah, so if you're completely unfamiliar with the 12-bar blues, well, you're still a beginner. Go check out a 12-bar blues now. Check out 12 of them.
Are we there yet?
We're not there!
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Okay, we're nearly through this whole list. How you going? Are you basically thinking that you're not a beginner? Well, let's see. Okay, last on the list. Here we go. It's twofold. It's all in the wrist. So meaning, do you hit the drums or the cymbals by laying your whole sort of arm into it, or do you just move your wrist like this. Okay, and it's also important to note that the stick can bounce as well. So don't hit through a cymbal, don't hit through a drum with really clenched hands on your drumsticks. Just be relaxed and know that the stick can bounce, all right? So if I, for instance, if I just let it drop, see it bounces. Depending on where you're holding the stick. So if you're not letting him bounce, then you're using more effort, you're not being as efficient with the way that physics works, I guess. So yeah, so just make sure that you know that the stick can bounce and that it's all in the wrist. You don't need to work as hard. That's it. Did you tick all the boxes? Do you have some things that you need to work on? If you have some things that you need to work on, make sure that you don't do it all at once. Just pick, say, one item per day or one item per week even, just to make sure that it's something that you don't just kind of try once and then sort of skip over. But if you did tick every box, well then, congratulations, well done. You're officially not a beginner, and it means that you can go straight on to watch the next level video. Some tips on what to do next after you pass the beginner stage. So go check out that now. But just before you go, I've just got one thing to give you. It's a free ebook download, something that I worked on for a while. I'm pretty pumped about it actually. It's called, actually, How Good Are You? Every time in our musical journey, we have to take a look at ourselves. Sometimes it's a brutal, hard self-critique where we have to figure out, actually, am I good at this thing? And so I give you the strategies so that you can confidently know this is how good I am on this particular instrument. So if that sounds like something that you need to go through, well, the link's below, go click it. And my name's Crafty, it's been such fun going through this drum stuff with you. I'll see you in the next level video.